Hi, this is Lady Warrior. I'm back. Excuse my fan in the background. It's been kind of hot. I'm biting my, putting in my air conditioner. We've had a few, heat waves here, and yeah, I still haven't put in the air, but I got the fan on in the back. You'll also hear the little kid jumping upstairs, those jumps and bumps and everything. That's nothing bad. That's just a kid upstairs. If my kid comes out, I'm obviously going to put this on pause, and I'll let you know. But I felt the need to expand on what I figured out with that other video I posted and the picture I posted. The video, first of all, I shouldn't put that one out there because it is a zoomed in picture and it is pixelated. The picture I took and put up on Facebook, of course, you put something out there, you get 10 million people replying what they think it is. Now, I just thought it was an interesting picture. I'll explain it, and this video explains a little bit of what I want to explain. When you go out and you capture supposed or assumed paranormal things, such as me thinking that I caught the Hat Man that I grew up with at my house when I was going down, just videotaping, showing my daughter what it looked like where I grew up. That's what the intent was. I was coming home. I found out I had a family member that was sick that lived up in the area that I grew up. That house that I showed, you know, it's built upon, but it's the house I grew up in, it's the land I grew up in, and I did have experiences when I was a child that I've been trying to, ever since, make sense out of, all the while I've been in my adult life. Okay? Now, in the 80s, you got to understand, there was no help except for people like Ed and Lorraine Warren. It wasn't readily available to the average person that was low income. You didn't know who to contact with this stuff. And furthermore, when you did, if it got out, you were labeled. You're a crazy person. Okay? That's how it was in the 80s. It's not like it is today. Every little thing that is assumed to be paranormal is ooh and ah. I'll tell you one thing. It's not ooh and ah. It's traumatizing. You have to weed out what is your mental health, what is your mental health, what is your regular health, what is real and what's not real, what's paranormal, what's not paranormal. You have to really understand it all to make sense in your brain to be okay with it. I, just to put it out there, am okay with it, because if I have any questions or questions, I do have people now I trust in my life to tell me the truth. It took a long time to find these people. It took over 50 years, well, 40 years, I'd be 10, I'm 55. So it took over maybe 30 years to find these people, because if I was searching when I was 20 for answers, even. So hauntings are not cool, okay? When you're a child and you have a haunting, it is not cool. It is not a cool thing. When you have God in your life, it's easier to deal with, and it's you're protected. But don't feel you're so protected that you can go out and do stupid stuff and encourage it, is what I'm saying. What I caught was caught by mistake. I wasn't looking for it. I didn't go out looking for it. I just so happened I was watching the video when my daughter came out of her room. I paused it at the right minute to question something that turned out to be nothing paranormal, by the way. Just looked like a Megatron dude. I debunked the whole thing. That was nothing paranormal. But then diving into it, I found that other side of it, which I'm having a hard time. Why am I having a hard time? Because I do not claim to be an expert in the field of paranormal investigation. And any true paranormal investigator will look at that picture and with a lot of skepticism. They're not going to just say, ooh, ah, you know, oh, I'm going to look at it and find more. No, that's not how it works. No, good paranormal investigators will try to figure out and say what it isn't. Why? I wrote down some stuff here that I want to say to get out points. I think it's 99.9 things, just like people who are possessed. 99.9999% of the time, you are not going to have a perfect possession in a person. It's very rare. Likewise, 99.9 things that are experienced and dubbed as paranormal have absolutely normal things to explain them. It doesn't set you apart if you're having paranormal experiences as special. You're the norm. They're finding out. I had an article and I posted it on my Facebook, and I tagged Bishop Cloud in it because it read that it's the norm. Paranormal experiences, especially with mental health, is the norm. It's not the exception. It doesn't make you special. Sorry. I don't want to insult the intelligence of other people, and I don't want to insult other people who feel that they definitely have this specialness about them. But in reality, 99.999% of things is not paranormal. Even with me growing up, I've always sought the answers. The reason why I watched all those ghost shows, because nothing else was available to teach me what it could be in a normal basis. I did have a paranormal investigation recently with Stephen Flaherty. Great guy, great ethics, will not bend the truth, will say it like it is, even though I'm so headstrong into saying things. No, he doesn't bend the truth. He's nice about it, but he will tell you when something isn't there. Alright? And we have nothing demonic in my house. He flat out told me he doesn't feel it. Bishop Cloud. I had him look at a couple pictures. All he saw was a bunch of fighting. He does have discernment, and he does have a little sixth sense there. All he saw was fighting in the pictures that I sent him of when I was growing up, which was part of everything. We always fought. There was a lot of fighting on that land. Whether it was the alcoholism or whether it was paranormal, it was always fighting. There was always personality changes. We had alcoholism. People were alcoholics. People were drinking. Of course you're going to have a personality change. That's a normal explanation to something seemingly paranormal. But there were personality changes back when I grew up that you couldn't explain. It was the worst, because that's Satan's number one thing, is divide and conquer. He doesn't want us to get along. So guess what? That's one reason we need to start striving to get along, to defeat Satan with our love. So that's the first point I wanted to get across, is 99.9% or 99999% of things are not paranormal. They're explainable. The other thing is, the video that I had was zoomed in on, and it was highly pixelated. The more pixelation, the more you get with something, a topic I want to discuss right now. I do have it plugged in. Cool. I have a picture from actually the lake when I was growing up, when I was a teenager. I think, is a case of this. But it looks weird. Okay. I don't even know if I'm saying this right. I cannot make out how to say this, okay? But let's try it. Pareidolia. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. Is the tendency for perception to impose a meaningful interpretation on a nebulous stimuli, usually visual, so that one detects an object, pattern, or meaning where there is none. Okay, a lot of it has to do, part of pareidolia is seeing faces and things. Our mind naturally wants to see our human face everywhere. It's egotistical. So you can make faces out in everything. When I was growing up in that lake, again, we used to have a pattern on our bathroom floor. And when, of course, you spend a little bit of time sitting, I would look down at that pattern and I could make out faces in it. People yelling at each other, all sorts of different faces. And my brain would just do that. And I would be mesmerized by that. Or relaxed by it. I don't know. I don't know why I did it. I did it a lot too. I remember that. Pareidolia. Pareidolia. I don't know how to say it. But you can see the man in the moon. It says the concept of pareidolia may be extended to include hidden messages and recorded music, playing the music backwards too. Higher or lower normal speeds, and hearing voices mainly indistinct, or music and random noise, such as that produced by air conditioners or fans. So this is what, and I'm gonna say Jeffrey Gold thinks that my picture of this hat man is a case of pareidolia, which with Jeffrey Gold stating that, because he has been part of that paranormal group. When I started really watching, it was on Darkness Radio, I believe it is. He was part of oh god, what was that, the paranormal, oh god, this is where I met Jeff. He was on the Paranormal View, I believe it was called, and they had a whole bunch of guests. They had people like Dave Schrader, and very common, very renowned names in the field on that show, explaining things. They also did cryptids, they did aliens, but it was all the scope of Paranormal View, and they did ghosts. They did phantoms, they did, shadow people, they did all that. And the first thing you learn, this is like Paranormal 101, is orbs are probably mostly dust and debris that's floating around, or flies. So orbs are very hard to, if you will, diagnose, if you will, any sort of paranormal activity. There has to be a certain amount of criteria, and usually with the bugs, what they do is they slow down the videos and look for the wings. So orbs, that's the first thing you learn. That's the first thing I always learn. You hear it all the time. Orbs are dust. You gotta throw them out. Second thing I learned was about pareidolia. How your brain will make faces in everything we see. And that is a case of the lake. That is a case of many pictures of the lake. Especially since there's a lot of woods up there. And with the leaves on the trees and all that, and the shadows and the shadow play and all, you got to take it all in consideration. So what do? You throw it away. Sorry to say this, some people might hate me for saying this, But if you're looking at a picture and you're looking at one thing like my shadow man, and then all of a sudden you're seeing all these other faces, you got to throw that away. You can't, not my shadow man. But that's, your brain's just normally seeing things. And when I go through my video with you again, I will show you the cases of pareidolia that I see, so that you can understand where I'm coming from. The other case of pareidolia that I think Jeff was talking about was, this video goes by so fast, it could be just those houses melding and all the shadows melding together, and it's just moving. It's a moving, we're in a moving car. I don't know. That's where my loss is, just to let everybody know. Is to know how things would look when they're moving. Otherwise, I pretty much understand the picture a little bit more, but I do feel I do and I don't right at this point. Before, I was almost sure that I caught something, but at this point, I'm like, I might have caught in the hat and the cape. And, you know, the see-through. You know, demons want you to question yourself. So, or things like that want you to question yourself. But, like I said, I'll take Jeffrey Gold's explanation over the average person's explanation. Like, I discussed this in depth with my girlfriend. She said, yeah, it does look weird. To us, it looks weird. If we were watching a TV show and saw that, we'd be like, ooh, wow, wow. Other people might be, no, because they want to be the only ones with paranormal experiences, just to let you know. They don't want anybody else to have a paranormal. Or, on the flip, they want everybody to have a paranormal experience so that they can counsel them. Okay, to me, counsel comes from real, tried and true paranormal investigators that actually supply help to people instead of further harm. That don't go into it thinking everything's paranormal. Even with Zach Bagans, and I'm gonna say this, Zach Bagans' name is being run through the mud right now. I'm not here to do that. I respect the man as a businessman. He does have a degree in film. He does have interpersonal relationships that have been severed and damaged. And there are people out there that are jealous of him on top of that. Zach Bagans has a lot of money. Zach Bagans is set for life. Zach Bagans set for himself guaranteed income for when he stops doing ghost adventures. Okay? Zach Bagans is a good businessman. He's kept he's kept that the business of show business, the business of television in movies is cutthroat. It's cutthroat. And if you don't play the game, you get burned. If you don't play it right, and if you want to be on top. I mean, me, I wouldn't want to be in that business the way it's cutthroat. I wouldn't want to be on top. I don't want everybody to know me. I don't want the fame and fortune. A little bit extra money would be nice, but hey, we can't all be rich, right? That's the elites, that one. But anyways, his name is being run through the mud. So I'm gonna further run his name through the mud because he did share, and it's not on purpose, you know, for anybody who likes Zach or for Zach himself, if ever he watched this. It's not on purpose. It's that part of the video that he put out there that is paranormal from his videos from, and I'm not going to put that on this video, his videos for he caught stuff in one of his rooms. Part of those creepy sounds do sound like my surveillance camera when a car goes by. The cars sound creepy as hell. And so much so is my daughter will not let me listen to my, will not let me watch or listen to my surveillance cameras at night because it creeps her out that much that she can't sleep. That is a case of pareidolia. You can't. The other sounds on his video are suspect. Okay? Never know if the guy has somebody running around. You know, he shows, you know, where there's nobody around, but you never know what goes on with that. Maybe he's throwing it out there to try to prove a point. But like me, maybe he's just like me. He's just throwing it out there to say, hey, listen, I'm not lying. You know? It is haunted. I can hear it. Maybe he's actually doing that. I don't know the man. And no, neither does anybody else for that matter. So anybody who's running his name through the through the mud, you got to consider who's talking to you about these things. Do they have a vendetta against him? Do they have, you know, what do they have against him? He's just a person just like you and me. Why do that to him? He's made a lot of money. So what? He's making money with a museum. So what? It looks like because he's getting notoriety, more notoriety with that museum for Vegas still, because Vegas has always had notoriety. I don't know if it's notoriety is the good word for it, because I don't know if that means bad or good, but it's bringing more business into that already business laden place. That's like me supporting my friend Ken Kaplan, who started the motorcycle museum here. And that is like everybody else saying that, oh, well, Ken went to all these other motorcycle museums and he took it away from them. He took all the glory away from them. No. Because I saw one video with Zach Bagans in it where the guy claimed that, oh, he came all the way to Connecticut and he just took and did a knockoff from Zappis and John Zappis, and so John Zappis can't build his museum. Wait a minute, wait. It's all the way on the other side of the country. I mean, this country is big enough for 2 paranormal museums. Okay, get it? He didn't take anything away from John Zappis. John Zappis has his own hurdles to get through that we don't know about. Okay, and I'm not even going to pretend to know about that. So, how can you talk about that? So he went and took pictures, even if he did take pictures to try to model his museum after John Zappis's or the Warrens Museum. Even if he did take those pictures to do that, that's kind of a compliment, because then he's saying they're the ones to model myself after. So, again, in your face. Stop being jealous. Stop holding grudges. To me, the paranormal community, the true paranormal community has always been a tight-knit group. And these little spats within it just make it bad. But Zach is an entertainer first. He's an entertainer. He's a businessman. He's actually a shrewd businessman. Look at all the money he's got for himself. And if he's paying what they said on Reddit about what they paid Aaron, good for him. They bring you a service. They deserve to get paid. So what? Do you work that hard to get money? Do you work that hard? Because last time I heard, these people who are making it like Zach did, he's not just, he's got books out there, he's got his name out there with the show, he's done countless different spin-off shows to make sure his name was still out there, to try to see what works. He's also got a countless number, he's also got his museum, he's also got a couple movies. He's worked his ass off for that money. Good for him. Stop being jealous. Anyways, my rant over. I got sidetracked. Pareidolia. My point is not this. I'm not claiming this particular image to be something it isn't. I want to know what it could possibly be other than the Hat Man growing up. So, Jeff Gold, whom I do trust, has a little bit more experience than some of the people that I know has tried to help me, meaning well, said he thinks it's a case of pareidolia. And I betcha, well, I'm not going to say what the other ones are going to say, but here is I do want to share, after this, I want to share a post from X that I replied to. Brian Murray, I think he's one of the ghost hunters on Ghost Hunters International, whatever, says, what is the one piece of advice you give to a new investigator? I said, everything isn't paranormal, and you got to remember that. This guy Matthew Nolan hit it right on the nail with what's going on with me with this little shadow person. Stay skeptical. Don't let your personal desire for something to be paranormal outweigh the evidence. 99% of the occurrences have a logical explanation. It's that 1% that keeps you coming back time and time again. That's what I'm fighting. I'm fighting the urge for this image to be the Hat Man so that I can prove not only to you guys, everybody, that I'm not crazy, but also to myself. That's the urge I'm fighting. And he's right. I respect him for saying that. It's the truth. And I want everybody who's watching this to remember that. Because, as I always say, having a haunting is not cool. And if you can find a logical explanation for something, you can deal with it better. It's easier to deal with it. It's easier to fix an electrical box than think that you're being watched if you have high EMF. Now, isn't it? If the problem of feeling like I'm being watched is going to be solved by redoing my electrical or moving away from that electrical outlet so that I'm not being watched, it's so much easier than thinking that, oh my God, there's a ghost in the house, let's call in the exorcist. It's so much easier, honestly, to call an electrician than having to call an exorcist. I hope I make sense with that. So I want to thank in this video Matthew Nolan for saying that, because that's the exact thing that's going on with me right now. So I just want to check my 2 notifications. Now, that's a fake Zach Bagans. That's a fake Zach Bagans. Poor Zach has to deal with these people. I mean, he actually made me laugh because there's one Zach Bagans that was on there that he thanked. He was a real big fan of that Zach Bagans. He said, thank you, fake Zach Bagans. So, you know, this Zach Bagans is fake. Zach Bagans, I don't think the real Zach Bagans would follow me. He tends to follow, it looks like, people who he personally has in his, business ties with. So, I mean, he's not going to follow me. So anyways, that was that on X that I wanted to show you. That's the Pareidolia thing I wanted to show you. Nothing more on this site. Now, I'm going to get into the videos. Oh, thing. Speaking about 99% of things not being paranormal. I did. I'm such a jerk. I told my girl, I took a picture and showed it to my girlfriend. I said, listen, if I put this up on my Facebook or on my Twitter, people would jump at the fact that that's an orb. That I caught something paranormal. But I'm going to explain this picture to you. It's like even solar flares. When you get lens flares, I kind of joke around. Oh, look, it's paranormal. But nothing paranormal. Let's see, where did I put it? I put it in my downloads. I gotta clean out my, I gotta clean out everything. What the hell happened here? did it go back up? That's yesterday. Really? Yeah, I was looking up satanic rituals yesterday because I wanted to learn about certain things. It's last month. Why did it go and change again on me? This thing changes all the time. When and I'm not gonna go on my girlfriend's thing and get it because I'm not gonna put up her thing. Did I? I'm looking. I'm like, if you saw me. Oh, there it is. Okay. If you saw me, I was like close to the freaking screen. But I want you to look at this. I could put this up there and try to dupe everybody that isn't professional. Professionals will see through this. And say, look what I captured. Oh my god, it's an orb in front of the Hat Man that I got. Can really go into doing something like that. But since I'm not in the habit and don't want to be in the habit of doing that to anyone, that's just a picture of a video of, you know, that's I think that was the black and white one I did that has my cursor from my last video in it, and it looks strange, doesn't it? And if you could blow it up, I don't know if I can blow these up. That's how into this I am. Oh look, you can see a face in it. Oops, shoot. Go back. There might be a face in the orb. No, I don't mean to laugh. I really don't. Even now, in Pareidolia. Excuse me. Anyway, we have that. And yes, I've done a lot of things for my stupid politics, I swear I don't go into, I don't like, right? So I put all these Z-bunks. Okay, I want the Z-bunk normal video, no sound, because the rest of them I think are highly pixelated. I mean, I'll show you one after, but yeah, they're highly pixelated. So I'm going to show you this one slowed down. I zoomed in with no sound. I'm zoomed out here. I tried not to zoom it in. I don't want it zoomed in. Okay, I want to show you a few things. I want you to notice. Okay? Things I need to take into consideration when you're doing this, when I'm doing this. I need to take into consideration, is this the one? Yeah, this is not zoomed in. Over here on the left hand side, if you're looking at this, okay, there is a big blotch. That is a reflection on the car window while we're driving. I am filming this through the car window. That is nothing more than whatever's in the car reflecting into that. And honestly, if you notice, you got a case where you can see a face in that. Which could be one of our faces, I don't know. But you got to take that in consideration. All these shadows you have to take in consideration. Alright? All the shadows you have to take in consideration. You got to take in consideration the dirt on the car window, which you can see is moving clearly, you know, moving through the house and on the lawn. Okay, so that's taken in consideration. You have to. You also have to take in consideration the time of day, the light, the way the shadows are going, because part of this that I had debunked was actually, yes, it was a shadow from whatever's on the bottom of the house. Okay, if I want to go further into saying, let's see if I can see it in this video, while we're going through, I can see a face in the window. Okay? It's pareidolia. Okay? This is where I begins to see what what originally drew my eye to this area. Okay? But again, what originally drew my eye is nothing more than a shadow from whatever's on the bottom of that house, in the corner of the house, going onto the bushes or trees and back. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all it is. And to the left, like I said, whatever that thing is, that's a reflection from the car window. Now, if you want to speak pareidolia in this picture, to the left, up in the trees, you can see this man's face. I can see a couple different faces in that. And I will take time and circle them. Now, I even see a skeleton face. That's all to the left. When I'm putting this together, I will circle them. But you can clearly see a man with an arm. But that's nothing more than the way the shadows are in the trees, creating an effect in your mind. Your mind is reading that as a face, because as humans, we want to see faces and everything. We are that egotistical. I'm joking, but we are. The it is so egotistical that it wants to see faces and everything. Now, if I look at you, and, if I speak to somebody daily, even if I see their picture every day, or if I see them every day, like my therapist, if I saw them in the grocery store, I wouldn't even know who they are if they said hi. If they said hi to me. Hold on. Even if they said hi to me, I wouldn't know who they are. That's pretty bad. And yet, my brain wants to see faces and everything. That's another thing. I want to show you a face that I caught in my room. I know I'm jumping here and there. Hold on. I'll keep this one up. But, oh, come on. Yeah, thank you. Let me go in, because I found it. I found it in my Unison folder. This is a picture taken in my old bedroom, up at where this other picture was taken at the lake. And this was my bedroom. Yes. And I swear that there's a face in this. I don't see too many faces. I mean, I can make out faces like with pareidolia. But this is the face that I saw. Okay. The reason why I got this is because I wanted to compare and contrast it to Janice Pockett's picture. Well, strike that. Anyways, I wanted to show you how even that's pareidolia, I think. But you can clearly see that you can make out a face in that. And that's at the lake growing up. Oh, will this, would it be bigger so that you guys can see it better? I don't know. So, yeah. Isn't that weird? Put your eyes focus on it. It's a case of pareidolia, I think. It's just really weird. Pareidolia is weird. You want to take on it. He's a little baby. Little kid. Little dog face. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about with pareidolia. And that picture was taken up in this house right back here. Not in this part. There's a one house back here where I grew up. So pareidolia is a thing. You can make out a whole bunch of faces when I go through this. I'll stop. I'll circle. I'll show you what pareidolia is if you want to know. But you will be able to make out a lot of faces in this picture if you wanted to. Especially still since there's a lot of trees and woods. So now the thing that got my eye is just blurring out, and now things are coming into light in a different way. I can still see a man in this video on the left hand side. Pareidolia. I can make out a man above what I'm looking at here in the trees. Pareidolia. Let's go further. Pixelation wipes out some of the pareidolia faces, but he gets up and he's right there. But see, to me, and it is melding, the houses are right behind there. There are houses, and you can tell they're houses in a couple different ways that I have this going. Okay, so I'm thinking the white that I see on this guy now might be just those houses because the car's going so fast with light play. I still say I see the hat, and I say I see the jacket. There's shadows. Okay. As far as is the bottom, like it kind of looks like it melts into a foot, but that's not a foot. That's part of the house. See if I can get some. Oh, there's another pareidolia in this. A couple of them now that I moved it a little. I mean, you can make out faces in those trees all day long. You can probably count like hundreds. Don't even get me started on the wall, because I haven't even looked at that. That's the wall Grandpa built. What originally started out as something was nothing but the shrubs or whatever's back there as far as the start of the woods goes, and a shadow. The shadows are going back like that, so it's a shadow from something in front of it. But yeah, spooky is as spooky does, right? Nothing spooky. I still am wanting Stephen Flaherty and Bishop Cloud to look at this to give a definitive answer whether or not it's pareidolia. But here's the video. It's not zoomed in this time. Still a lot of pixelation, but the cars going by so fast. I don't know. So you never know. By the way, the part of the house jetting off there, hold on. The part of the house that's jetting off right there, that's the part of the house that was there, and it was a flat roof. It wasn't a FBI nightmare. It was a flat roof. So, I mean, the rest of it was not there. The ledge was there. We have a ledge with Micah on it. So, and I forgot to say about the house that Grandpa and Grandma, they had built next door. Forgot to mention that in the other video. But the original house that was there was in back there. That's the one I grew up in. So yeah, I'm letting this go for my cousin to see what they did to the house. And just to her, I'm gonna say there's no more driveway that leads down to Wendell Road on that side. The driveway leads to Pine Street. They covered up the road, and now the driveway is only for the house that was next door to us. So yeah, that's that in regular color. Now I'm gonna do something I'm not sure anybody would like, and cookie notice, huh? And go down, and that's what, no sound. Slow down. This is, I think, regular with sound, without sound. Oh, this is the whole thing. Let's just going by. Going up the street. Oh, Sue, I want to show Sue something. See, that's the normal drive-by. Okay, I'm going back this far just to show Sue. My girlfriend. Her name is Sue. That's the house they built in place of the red cabin, Sue. It's pretty, isn't it? So anyways, let's go. Yeah, see, there's a lot. It's really nice here. In back there, in back of this house that I slated as the red cabin, and between that and the white house, and back there's another house that Grandma and Grandpa had built. And way back in the 70s, that was my grandmother's brother, I believe, lived in that for a little tiny bit until another person lived in it. So this is the normal speeded up one. See? So see, there's a shadow back there that's from the house, but as far as everything else goes, I mean, honestly, see, you can still make out faces in the trees. There's Megatron dude, but yeah, as you go by it, you can't see it. It goes by so fast, but slowed down, you can see everything. But there's houses in those, that white is the houses in back, definitely. One of the prettiest. I grew up in this area. I felt so at home here. Let's do that again. See? So if it's going that fast, and then you slow it down, will something like that occur with the light play and just in general with going that quick? We used to play up in all these woods. So anyways, that's that. See, you can see, you can definitely see the the hand and everything on the it's a reflection. So that's that one. And then I thought I did the dark one. Normal video, high brightness, normal video, tint. I didn't do the dark one. But the high brightness shows even more. Slow, I think this one's slowed down. And what do I mean by shows even more? It shows even more by way of what I'm not seeing. Okay? See, these are houses. They're houses. So the face of that dude that I see, I think it's just the houses morphed together at the speed that we're going. I still see, though, the hat and the coat. And keep in mind, this is not a full-bodied apparition. This is just, I see the hat. The morphed part of the white is all, to me, the houses. But then I see the coat. So. See? Like I see the shadow of the person moving. So you got the houses in back, and I see the shadow of the person moving, and that's on low. That's what, you know, using a filter, using the high brightness. That's what I'm seeing. I'll let that play out for you. Okay. Now, pause. My stupid butt hit bad. Now I got normal with tint slowed down with a red tint. See? All my faces mostly disappeared with this one. With my mind playing tricks on me. But look. I do see the shadow coming out, and I do see it manifesting, but not too much more. It's not as pronounced. So, did I catch something? Possibly. Is everything else in this video paranormal? No. And it really looks like, honestly, with this red one, that Pareidolia face that I have in next to it, looks like the eyes are opening and closing when I do this. That can be really scary. I'm terrible. But yeah, I just want to know, is it really Pareidolia, or with these filters would it still manifest like it is? That's all I want. And honestly, it's not as white, so it doesn't look as pronounced, but I don't know. It looks like I killed all the houses too while I was at it. I see a polar bear even up there. That's funny. Pareidolia. I even see a little polar bear coming into play. It's like the clouds. So, but see, the houses are still there. The houses are there, but they're, you know, not as white. So, is my man space part of the house? I don't think it is. I think the man space is its own. As far as if you want this. But I don't know. That's it. I'm not a real paranormal investigator, and if you're not a real paranormal investigator, you need to let the professionals do their job. I just wanted to see one thing while I did this, because you know, it's easier to make things out when you're doing it. So you really want things to go on, right? No. But yeah, there's nothing else. It's just that one thing. The rest of it is as quiet as a mouse, even, you know, with feelings. I don't even get any feelings from this guy. I don't get any energy feelings when I view it. Yeah, there's a panda bear up there now. So, Pareidolia. The guy's still there though. You can tell what not part of him, what is with this one. So, anyways, I'm gonna end this hour-long one, right? Is it an hour long? Yeah, hour 48, almost 2 hours. No, hour long. Yeah, with what I was trying to explain to you, the pareidolia. So this could be, very well could be, basically pareidolia, like my friend Jeff said. And with that said, I'm going to share through pictures my grandmother that raised me in this house, on the phone in the house, my mother and me and my brother in the house, and in back of me I think you can see the hallway that led down to my room. Now, I wanted to end this with a final note. The reason why I shared the original thing was not so that everybody could start debunking it. And if I wanted a psychic reading on it, I would have gotten a psychic reading on it, which I did not need. While we were driving, I was not feeling any energies whatsoever while we were driving. But I wasn't looking for it either, and I wasn't opening myself up to it. I had holy water in that car with me. Little do people realize when I go into places that I'm unsure about, I do have holy water, and I do bring blessed salts. Thanks to Bishop Cloud, I have the holy water and blessed salts. Now, if I wanted a psychic reading, I would have asked for a psychic reading. Many people don't know this about me. I am intuitive. I am very intuitive. My problem is when it comes to discernment. And on this particular trip, I was pleasantly surprised to learn about some of the discernment when it comes to spirit. And the way I discerned is because I felt my aunt behind me when I was talking to one of my cousins. My aunt passed away. I learned, I know how she feels in that room with me, because, get this, the whispering was, I've been in that room so many times, or in these places so many times with my aunt physically, even when my back was turned, that I automatically knew it was her energy coming through when I felt her. And she was a strong believer in the afterlife. She felt you know, there's stories. She felt my uncle in her house, I guess. He even changed her bedroom, my cousin told me, because she felt my uncle in the house. And so I don't need anybody to debunk it. I don't need anybody not to tell me to be afraid, because I'm not afraid of it. It just confirms that even if this is Shadow Man, which I'm not saying it is at this point, because I'm leaning towards it isn't, then he is attached to land. He's not attached to me. My sorrow comes was that his house was sold without him being taken care of, if that's the case. Because it wasn't a very good experience up at that lake for me. And quite honestly, for some of my other cousins too. So, I mean, I thank people who mean well, but as far as the faces and all that goes, I am a strong believer that most of what is seen in that picture is pareidolia. And even with the motion of the car and how fast it whips by with that particular image, could be deemed pareidolia. I'm just still in question because I'm not professional. I'm not the type of person. I think that person that had that on Twitter about wanting it to be something only because it would have proved to everybody and myself that I wasn't crazy. I'd say I've been seeing him since I've been like 3, 4, 5 years old. So from that, a good 51, 52 years I've been holding on to this baggage. I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of it. I don't want the attachment, but I'm not afraid of it. I want to let it go. It's hard to let go when you were traumatized by it, and that's going to come when I get through my extensive therapy that I'm working on. So there's that too. So, like I said, many people that know me don't know that about me, that I can sense the energies, and that's one of my problems when I was little, is there was too much energies going around me at the time, whether it was spiritual energy or it was people energy or it was traumatic energy. There was just too much of it for a young child to handle. The worst energy for me personally, even at this age, to feel right now is there's been so much death in my family. The hardest energy is to feel the sadness of people who are sad when a loved one passes. That's the hardest energy that I go through personally feeling. That sadness is, there's no way to describe it. That emanates off of a living human being. And it's not their fault. And that's one of the things. It's not their fault. So it's hard to be around it. But like everything else in life, I mean, I do believe a lot of paranormal things, like with human spirit. It's as natural can be. And my investigation with this house, with my long talk with Mr. Flaherty, confirmed things. Little does he realize that I felt with that. So now I'm more comfortable saying, yeah, I was in a room talking to my cousin. I felt my aunt behind me. Literally, I felt her behind me. And the feeling wasn't, ooh, it's scary, or ooh, she's gonna hurt me, or ooh, booga booga. The feeling was, I'm here, I love you, I'm protecting my boys. Strong presence of her in that house. And what should I have thought I'd feel other than something like that from a loved one? Yes, I can sense spirit. I have always had trouble discerning spirit. Gotta remember, I was not baptized until I came to Connecticut, and that was in 1970, end of 1970 maybe, because the accident happened, I think, in 71. My brain is failing me right now. 70 or 71. I was a year and a half. And yeah, I was born in 69. So in Colorado, my family did satanic rituals and practiced the dark magic. And there are rituals that go with children, that are done with children there. But I was baptized. My grandmother made sure I was baptized. And that was I think one of the best things she ever did for me. To save me out of that type of horrendous experience. I couldn't imagine what my experience would be if I wasn't baptized. So yeah, there's that. So I don't need a psychic reading, other than if I ask Bishop Cloud what he feels, or Bishop Archbishop Enright if I see him, what he gets, or Bill Bean. Bill Bean's great at discerning spirits. So I have mentors, I have people I trust, I have my own intuit. The only thing I wanted to know is if this possibly could have been something other than what I was seeing, which was the Hat Man that I used to see when I was a kid. I'm not afraid of it. I don't care about him. The only thing I care about is getting closure. And maybe I'll never get closure. You never know. So, but I just wanted to educate on what pareidolia is, because it seems like people don't, even people who are just stepping into, looking at things, don't understand and don't realize that this is a phenomenon. And yes, the brain does it. Sorry to burst people's bubbles, but that's psychologically a brain. Our human brains do that. Anyways, I shared these 3 pictures. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope I didn't bother anybody too much. Never want to do that. I always want to send peace and love and blessings out to people. Lord God, please, anything that is coming through or going through, please don't let it go into anybody else's house. Please don't let it come into my house. Please take it and put it where it belongs. I also ask you to take and put your loving arms around each and every person that listens to this, and send your angels to hug them tight and let them know on a personal level, the way only you know how, to get to each and every one of us, that you love them no matter what, and your love is far greater than any human's love can ever be, because we are so limited and we're in an unlimited body. You're unlimited. So please, Lord God, anybody who listens to this, let them feel your love and feel your guidance and feel your wisdom. Give them wisdom, and give them wisdom to discern. I pray this in the name of my Lord and Savior, Yeshua Jesus Christ, in his holy name. Selah, glory, hallelujah, all glory to you, God. Thank you, and have a nice day.